New details: a jury in the manslaughter trial of Kim Potter could be deadlocked. She is the former police officer who says she mistook her gun for her taser when she shot Dante Wright. As our Adrian Brose reports, the jury has asked a few questions, including what should they do if they can't reach a verdict. Adrian.
Susan, good morning. So far, we've had 3 questions on the record from members of this jury, and one signals there may be some sort of debate or disagreement brewing among the jurors. They wanted to know, if the jury cannot reach a consensus, what is the guidance around how long and what steps should be taken? Judge Chu responded by telling members of the jury to deliberate with a view toward reaching an agreement if they can do so without violating their individual judgment. Yesterday, jurors also wanted to know if the zip ties could be removed from Exhibit 199. That's the gun Potter used when she shot and killed Dante Wright. The answer was yes. And you may remember, on Monday, prosecutors told members of this jury they would have an opportunity to grab, touch, and feel the taser and the gun so they could compare and contrast the 2 weapons. Today marks the 3rd day of deliberations. Susan?
So could today be the day? Adrian Brose, thank you. Barricades have been put up around the Brooklyn Center in Minneapolis in anticipation of a verdict. HLN legal analyst Joey Jackson is with me this morning. Joey, good to see you. The jury asked the judge late yesterday, look, what happens if we can't reach a verdict? And the judge saying, look, keep at it. But what if? Because we're going into day 3.
Yeah, good morning to you, Susan. So 14 hours of deliberation, and they're really having a hard time, right? The defense saying that this is just a tragic mistake. She's contrite. She's sorry about what she did. We know she testified and feels miserable about it. And of course, the prosecution saying, of course, in their words, this is no whoopsie. This is something that was significant. It was reckless. It was negligent. Hold her accountable regardless of how nice of a person she is. But to your question, what happens is that it's not uncommon, I should say, for a jury when they're really trying to get it right. And just 1 minute about the process, Susan, right? We're talking about 12 people from different walks of life, from different perspectives, having different points of view, having to come to a consensus. Everyone has to be in accord. All 12 have to say guilty or not guilty, and that's not often an easy thing to do. It's also, I should say, not uncommon for jurors to come out and say, hey, you know what, Judge, we cannot reach a conclusion, and for the judge to say, you guys are smart. There's no other jury who can get it any better than you can. Go back and try to deliberate. And so it doesn't mean because they said they're not there that they cannot get there. But in the event that they do not, it would be declared a mistrial, right? That is, the jury cannot reach a consensus. And then the prosecution, Susan, would have to decide whether they want to move forward and try the case again. Not there yet, but that's where we could go.
And what goes into that decision, Joey, in terms of if she should be retried or if she will be retried?
So it's all about the interest of justice, right? It's about whether or not the prosecution deems it appropriate, given the nature of the offense, the gravity of the charges, the interest of the community, the interest in the pursuit of, what should be the right call in terms of justice either way, of whether they can move forward. And so I'm presuming that if the family will have a lot of input into it, public opinion, of course, has a lot to do with it, whether or not, right, the real protocols and policies provide for what are you trying to do? What deterrent value are you trying to set? What message are you trying to send? And so the prosecution, if we get there, will have to decide if this jury is hung and can't reach a conclusion, whether they do it again, factoring all of that into their consideration.
And statistically speaking, the defendants rarely take the stand, but Kim Potter did. It was emotional. It was on Friday. Here's a clip of it.
I remember yelling, taser, 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 and nothing happened. And then he told me I shot him.
On the force, 26 years, and Joey, just hard to watch, and you really felt that she felt sorry. I wonder if that's enough.
You know, the jury has this authority, and it's called jury nullification, Susan. And what that means is that a jury, notwithstanding the law, can really disregard that and say that we just feel that we've connected with her, what she said resonated with us, and we're going to give her a pass. Because if you think about it, that's where the defense was going here. Basically saying, you know what, she's contrite, she felt miserable, it was a horrible accident, and let's move on. And so what happens is that if you think about what she said, she really admitted to all the material elements of the case. Like what? Like, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. You know, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to use deadly force. I didn't intend to use deadly force. And so what is she saying? That she was reckless, she was negligent. But the jury may be saying that, you know what, we get it. And last point, Susan, that's this. Remember, they also, that is a defense, called a psychologist that talked about how you can be a person of significant experience and still make an error like this. And there's a psychological notion that this is something that happens. And so if the jury buys into that, that could be more of a reason why they could say, you know what, let's give her a pass. Not there yet. They're still deliberating. They'll come back today. But they're clearly having a hard time. And I think her sincerity, which seemingly seemed to be her sincerity, has helped her out significantly here.
Yeah, saying training doesn't necessarily mean you'll do that when something like this happens. Joe Jackson, thank you.